Alright, this is the start of my veneering project for this beautiful Nakamichi 700 Tri-Tracer cassette deck. It's a 3-head deck, first generation Nakamichi. Beautiful machine, and as you can see I've got it sitting on my washer and dryer bench top here. I've taken the case off of it, as you can see, and you can see where the grating and stuff. We'll wander out into the garage here, where I've got the veneer all cut out. I bought a big roll of cherry veneer. Here I've cut, I'm only doing 3 sides, because actually there was only 3 sides on the box that had veneer on it. So these are rough cut. They're much larger than the veneer area that's going on to the deck case. And this is the case itself. And what I've done is I've used an epoxy putty stick here that you can see, Mohawk, and it doesn't really matter what color because it's going to be covered with the new veneer. So you can see where the old veneer was, and it was really in bad shape, and it had a bunch of dings and depressions and all that sort of stuff, and sort of rounded off on the edges and everything. So that's where I used the Mohawk epoxy putty stick, filled in all of the gouges and all that sort of stuff. And what I'll do is I'm waiting for it to dry. It's fast drying stuff, but I'm going to give it a good long wait to nice harden and solidify and bond to the material here. And then what I'll do is using this contact cement, I'm going to start on one side. I'm going to do the first side there, that side, and then I'll do the top, because you'll have a little layer there, and you can put the top over, and that way you can get as close to seamless corner as you possibly can, and it should look pretty nice. So before I do all of that, of course, I'll sand this all down flush, and you can see where some of the corners had been sort of dinged up. So I built it up with the epoxy putty, and I'm not going to do anything to the back. It's original in the bottom. I'll probably paint this up a little bit just because I touched it with a sander, and you can see where it's gone down to wood or whatever, but it's still in good shape. And we'll see how it turns out. And then of course I'll stain it, and then I'll probably put some form of clear coat on top and make it look good. Well, that wasn't without a whole bunch of pain, but I sure learned a lot, and burned out one Dremel tool. It has a bad switch on it. So I brought out my trusty Craftsman and used the Dremel attachment here for, it's kind of like a router attachment, because my other router over here is too big and bulky to do the fine work that I needed. So here I've got the rough work done. It still needs fine sanding and everything, of the box, and that's a cherry veneer, and it looks like it came out okay. I botched one side, so I had to pull it off, sand it down, and then put it on again, but it actually came out quite nice. I still got to do all kinds of fine sanding here and just get that all smoothed out and everything, but it looks like it came out really well. And then I'll have to put some stain and some sort of varnish or something on it, and or clear coat, and see how that turns out. But I'm very impressed with myself. That's only the second veneer job I did. This is a first one I've done without the iron-on, and I was just using contact cement. This stuff isn't great. It's LePage gel, and it was really hard to get it on smoothly. So I don't think I'll buy that kind of stuff again. I'll get the liquid stuff better. And then I do have the spray contact cement as well. Anyway, it's holding, and I just gotta do all kinds of prep work, and then she'll be ready to reassemble. Thanks for watching. And there we have it. I've fine sanded it now, and it's looking nice. Might have to do a little bit more in that area, but really come together nicely. The holes are clean cut, and the other side is just as beautiful. There we go. Next thing we do is apply some stain. See how that comes out. All right, I found this beautiful cherry, what's it called? Traditional cherry stain in my wife's painting cupboard. She's the painter in the family, and I put a coat of it on. I'll probably let it sit for a while, and it is a cherry veneer, so I've got a nice cherry, traditional cherry stain put on. That's the first application. I'll do a second, and it says to wait 2 hours between. And then what we'll do is put a varathane on, and I think I've got, oh, there's urethane. I've got some varathane, I think, as well. That's what it's recommending. So, yeah. So I'm very happy with how this has turned out. Look at that, beautiful. And I think once I put the varathane on, it will be nice and well protected, and it will look stunning. So there you have it. That is the case for this beauty here, and basically what I have to do yet, and I'll try and get in the back there, is I've got all the belt kit for all these belts here. You can see how glossy and smooth and kind of cracking they are. The thing did work. It's a little bit noisy with I think the stretched out belts and everything, so we're gonna change those up and clean everything out, get some good cleaner. Inside we've got a couple of belts down there. We've got the counter belt that needs to be changed, and then there's another capstan belt or drive belt up there. So anyway, we'll get that done, and then button her all together, and then hopefully we'll have a beautiful sounding Nakamichi 700 Tri-Tracer cassette deck. All right, there you have it. First coating of, I used the urethane, which is this stuff, spar urethane, Helmsman, and it went on really nice. And here we go. It's still tacky and wet right now, but you can see that it looks just lovely. And what I'll do is I'll touch up all of that with black and everything once I've got this dried. So it'll be 2 coats of this with 6 hours in between coats for drying. I'm just going to go with 2 coats, and after that it will be ready to mount the tape deck. And now I think I'll work on doing the belts on the tape deck. So there you have it, a nice beautiful cabinet for a Nakamichi 700 Tri-Tracer.